Date Master checking in. We're gonna talk about fellas being in love. Through life. In your younger years. Some of you guys right now. Some of you are just coming out of this in love experience where you made yourself emotionally vulnerable to the woman that did everything for you. The way she looked, the way she talked, just your encounter and experience with her caused you to let your guard down. You started to, you're more appeasing. You're more, you're not as firm as you once were to get her, attention, to make, to pique her interest. So what we tend to do once we get into these spaces of relationships, we get complacent and we also open up avenues to be manipulated. One of these avenues is trying to give her the same energy in the same form that she gives it to you. She has this conception or this perception of love and how things are supposed to go, that she wants you to mimic what she does, and when you can't do that. You can exchange, similar, values, respect, loyalty. That's possible, but you cannot act as she acts. You can't be, I love you, boo boo and baby, and you can't. That's showing a feminine side of you. So she wants that, but she really doesn't, because that's her role. She wants to be soft and feminine. She wants you to acknowledge it, but don't over acknowledge it to the point where you start to mimic her behavior in this relationship, because that's going to be the number one factor in her losing the attraction to you, because you're going to become more feminine. You're going to be acting more feminine with her when she wants to act feminine. So you're stepping into her role. You're stepping into her lane. A woman finds the most pleasure in pleasing. They love to see what reaction they can get out of people, whether that be male or female. They want to please or spark some type of emotional response, because they're emotional. They're emotional based. So they want to see people speak their language. But again, being in love is this feeling of euphoria where you're on a high. You feel everything is perfect. Everything is going well. You're doing the arguing. You're taking a beating in some cases, but you're still hanging in because you're in love. You're losing your dignity by the day because you're in love. She has you by the balls because you're in love. So she used this position of power to dominate you, because a lot of women now, they don't want to be the subordinate to a man. They want to be equal or above. So a woman who has been dealing with a lot of beta males, a lot of blue pill guys that allow this process to continue, she's going to have a hard time unraveling the reality and the truth once she comes in contact with the alpha or a sigma or a top tier male that understands the dynamics of relationships between men and women. She's going to constantly refuse his provision. She's going to refuse any information that he is willing and attempting to provide, because she cannot be challenged in this form, because she's been dealing with weak men her whole life. Accountability is foreign to her. She has never been held accountable. So now that you're trying to hold her accountable, you're going to deal with some friction. You're going to deal with friction where oftentimes you will be apologizing when she was in the wrong. You'll be apologizing for her reaction to your response to what she did. I know. You just got to listen to that slow. You'll be apologizing for how she is reacting to how you reacted to something that she did. She's 100% in the wrong, yet you're apologizing because she emotionally manipulated you, because you're in love. She flipped the script. So it feels good. You're on this high, and then you start to find out, you start to see that, things are changing. Things are a little different. It's a little distant. It seems as if something has infiltrated your union. Now you see the real side of her. You see the reality of what it will be within the next 5 to 10 years. And now, you're noticing that what you were in love with is not in love with you in the same fashion because she's not yours. You get possessive. You get emotional. A lot of women want you because they cannot physically overpower you. They have to use emotion and your own desire, your own instincts against you, which is sex. They use that against you to control you, and you fall for it every time. So meeting a man that does not fall for it in the fashion or in the same way the other 20 to 30 to 40, however many guys she's been with prior to fell for it, it's gonna be uncomfortable to her, for her, because she's used to manipulating men very easily. She's used to getting a certain reaction. That's how these standards come about. She only wants a man who accommodates her standards. He has to be a helpmeet to him. He has to be a service to her. He has to provide some type of luxury or some type of support for her to find an incentive to engage, because again, you have so many men competing for the same woman. You're not doing anything but adding to her ego. So once you find out that this love thing is not as cracked up as I thought it was, now, your woman may pick up on that. She's going to know that you're not, so now this is where the issues really begin, because once a woman finds out that her hooks are no longer in her man, she's going to create chaos and sabotage the situation for her to leave. This is when she makes her grand exit. This is when things go south and you are going to be blamed for everything leading up to her departure. Yet she does this with every guy. She does this with every guy. That's why she knows how, when, and where to do it. She's an expert after a certain age. Well, you have women constantly leaving relationships, and I say this a lot. This speaks to the character and the judgment of the woman, not the man. Because if you're picking men that you continuously have to separate and leave, what does that say about your judgment? And as a man, you should not be put in a position to be left. And I say this again. But I do know the allure of women can make you lose control. The sexual experience, women, like I said, women pride themselves in their sexual prowess, in their ability, their body. They pride themselves in that. That's why that's usually what you're going to see promoted on the internet, on social media. You're going to see the physical. Women have made themselves sex objects, to where men look at women and the first thing that comes to his mind is sex. It's not education. It's not, wisdom. It's sex. That's why if you look at entertainment, 98% of the female entertainers have to get naked or damn near naked on TV or stage to hold the attention of the crowd. You don't see a lot of fully clothed women on the front line in mainstream media. They have to show some skin because they are viewed as sex objects. But this is something that a lot of people do not think about or talk about. But, you'll deal with heartbreak, and some men cannot deal with it in the same way other men can. It is a process. You have to, you have to go through a process of solitude, get in the gym. You got to better yourself, because you'll be in a depressed state, losing your mind 6 months later, still trying to get this woman back who left you, making yourself look like a fool, boosting her ego because she's showing it to her friends in the group chat. She's screenshotting your outlandish, 200 word, 300 word text messages that doesn't move her at all. This is what you're going to deal with. But, that's my take, man. Be careful. I know you got women that you're going to, like, but you have to love them with your mind, not your heart. Use your mind. It's the Date Master. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.